Yeah. So welcome to the space again, right? We're talking wealth, personal finance, Q&A. Abigail, what you need to do is understand what's happening in Nigeria. We're taxing income. We've passed in lots of policies now in Nigeria that for the first time we're going to expand that tax net. You know, when the president said we're going to expand the tax net, this is what he meant. So every income you make is now liable, not taxed, it's liable to be taxed. So if you make an income, it's liable to be taxed. But you can get a deduction. You can say, for instance, I did something and then that something removes or reduces my taxes. Very easy. So nothing complicated there. If you earn a 1 million naira salary, the government can tax it. But the government says before we tax it, we're going to allow you to take deductions. So for someone like you, are you working today?
Yes, actually started recently.
So like a job where you get like a paycheck from a company, basic housing, travel, retirement, and all that.
No, it's not that documented, or
Okay.
should I say,
Do they pay you a salary?
they do.
Okay, so they pay you a salary. The first thing you want to do is this, right? You want to ask them if they can pay you that salary in terms of basic housing and transport. Do they do that?
No, I don't think so. I'm a Web3 person, so I would most likely get paid in crypto.
Okay, fantastic. So if that means you are working for yourself, right? In Nigeria, you have to file as a individual taxpayer because that income you are making is income, right? So you want to file as an individual taxpayer. So you have to go. That's number one. Then your pension, you can also open a pension account as an individual contributor, which means you are contributing for yourself. You are your employer, you are your employee. So you're going to say, I want to make a micro pension contribution. And there are companies that do that in Nigeria. There's one called Awaba that does it. Yeah, if you go online, Awaba, you can get it, or send me a DM, I'll send it to you. So the first thing you want to do to reduce your income, when they pay you in crypto, the government can also tax your crypto because that's income to you. So when they pay you that crypto, you've received income. So what you can do is say, okay, you got that crypto income. What can you do? Number one, you want to take a retirement savings account contribution. The government says you can pay 8 and 8 and 10. That's 18%. So you, first of all, do you have a company who is paying you? Are they paying to Abigail or to Abigail's company? How's Abigail receiving this income? In her name or in her company name?
I don't know how to explain. It's just like a wallet address. I just say my wallet address.
Okay.
And
So Abigail, no, it's good. You're fine. You're fine. So Abigail, can you consider between now and December going to get a lawyer and registering a company called Abigail Limited? Very, very small registration, the cheapest one you can do. Can you do that? And I'll tell you why. Because when you do that registration, right, you see your laptop you used to do your business, the NEPA you are paying, the data card you are buying, the phone calls you are making, these are all going to be expenses that you can use to write off that crypto income you've gotten. So someone sent you a job, right, online, and that job was to do, I know crypto was to do XYZ. When you did that XYZ, you used Nigerian data, Nigerian power, Nigerian telecom to do that data. So it cost you a certain amount of money to do that data, which you then did. You can take away those costs from your income. You won't pay tax. To the data pack you're buying, the phone you bought, the rent, maybe you went to a resort to have peace and quiet, to do that job in that resort, the hotel bill you paid for that resort, your Uber to the hotel, the meals you ate in the hotel whilst you're working for this company are all going to be disallowable. It's allowable from your income. So if you have a company and that company does not make 50 million naira in turnover, Abigail, you will not pay any tax. So if your company does not make 50 million naira in turnover, you will not pay any tax. If your company makes 51 million naira, and then you have phone bills, data pack. You can also take that data pack to further reduce your taxes and not pay any income. So that's why I asked if it's in your name or if it's in a company name. So now I've given you one idea, right? Go and set up a company, make yourself the founder, CEO. You can add anybody you want to add, but you want to do the business with that company. Then yourself, that's the company. So you see, the income is going to the company. The company is now paying Abigail. The company can pay Abigail a salary. It can pay Abigail drawings. When you take money from that company, you've taken your own income. The IRS, the National Revenue Service, says if you take income less than 800,000, don't worry about paying any tax. You're not going to pay any tax whatsoever. But if you take more than 800,000, you are then liable to pay tax. But how much tax do you pay? You only pay tax based on what you earn above the deductible. So for you want to buy pension, you want to do life insurance, you want to do NHF, you want to do all that stuff to reduce further the taxable income. So best thing to do, Abigail, if you go on my page, if you tweet Kalu's Kaja's taxes, I've done a lot of posts on this where you can get it more simplified. So try to read it, try to go online, watch the videos, but it's all really about what you're doing is the right thing today. Now you've heard some stuff that should make you go and seek more information, right, on how you can do this better. Make sense, Abigail?
Completely.
There's nothing crazy about it. It's just numbers. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. To Abigail. Toswin, I got Toswin. Toswin, how you doing? Bits God Junior. How you doing?
Hi everyone. Hi Uncle Carlo.
Uncle, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. So
fantastic.
My question is similar to that of Abigail. I'm into crypto as well.
Yeah.
And currently, I don't work for any crypto company, but I do trading and airdrops. Most of my money comes from airdrop and crypto trading.
Wow.
My question now is, if starting next year, I heard that we'll be paying taxes. So how is the government going to know that the money coming into my account? Because when I want to convert, if I convert this money, like this crypto airdrops, I trade it via P2P on an exchange. So different people pay me money. So how are the government going to know that this money coming into my account are incomes? Because it's really not. I'm not really understanding how this thing works.
Yeah.
The tax.
That's a fantastic question, Tosin. Fantastic question. So the first things first is the government will know. Why? Because you're getting that airdrop on an exchange or it's coming to your bank, right? So that's how they will know. So the first thing I'll advise you is that don't think they will not know. They will know. It's very, very easy to know. Crypto is it's just, there's no name on it, but you can't hide the trail, right? So they will know. That's one thing. The second thing is this, right? If all this income you are making, if it's income below 800,000, you don't have to worry about paying taxes. So do you get airdrops more than 800,000 a year?
I get a whole lot of above that, way above that.
Okay, so do you get that in your, like I told Abigail, do you get that in your company name or your personal name? If it's in your personal name, you might want to consider incorporating something that you can receive that, because if your turnover is less than 50 million, you also do not pay tax. So that would be a short.
My personal name. So it's my personal name. I get this money in my personal account.
So I'm saying you should consider perhaps incorporating something. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So probably a company I'll be in charge of, right?
It doesn't matter who's in charge of the company, but the company is the one doing the activity that generates the income. Then that income, if the turnover is less than 50 million, that income is exempt from paying corporate income taxes.
So I can basically, what you're saying, I can create this company and then pay myself, right?
That's how it's supposed to be. That's how Mr. Dangote does it. Mr. Dangote gets a salary from Dangote Cement and from Dangote Refined Petroleum. That's what Mr. Dangote does. So you want to be like Mr. Dangote.
Alright, makes sense.
Yeah.
Because my fear is I know a lot of crypto folks don't really know or have access to this kind of information, because a lot of my friends don't even know about this. They'll be asking questions and like how this thing is going to be working. But I think I'll be explaining to them, and if there's any subsequent space about this tax store, I will have to like invite them.
Let me there is that. Let me see the crypto guy, and he's very close to your individual. See, don't advice in Nigeria is people like to pay for advice. I want to advise you folks, right? Organize yourself, pay for someone to come and talk to you on online or whatever. Yeah, pay the tax guys to come and talk to you guys online. Make yourself so that way you hear from the horse's mouth, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Baba Aduke, thanks, Baba. You were there on the other space and we went off. Just appreciate you. Thanks for hopping in back here. Baba, what's up, Baba?
Yeah, it's Baba Aduke. Like,
Baba Aduke. Sorry, sir. I apologize. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good. So, I'm based in Canada, actually, but I have a lot of interest in Nigeria, so I follow the Nigerian space very closely.
Yeah.
And when this new tax system came up, a lot of us in Canada became very excited. I'm in the finance space here because what's happening, I haven't looked very closely at the proposed tax system. Canada has a very, very complicated tax system, right? And when you're an immigrant and you move in your 20s from Nigeria to Canada or US, your 20s, your 30s, or your 40s, it's a serious cultural shock for you. The people shock you have in the complicated financial system and the tax system. So what we've done as immigrants here in Canada is that we've created structures and systems that allow us to understand it fast so that we can settle down and get to know how the tax system works. Because if you do not understand, then there can be a lot of benefits that accrue to you at the end of the year, tax refunds and all of that stuff that you don't have, that you don't have access to because you're not filing your taxes. Or you can get into serious trouble and owe a lot of money and you don't have the money to pay, right? So what I want, I've already sent you a DM when we left the last room.
Let me look at this.
So one of the things that I wanted to do was to have a conversation with you about some of the structures, some of us financial professionals here in Canada, especially Nigerians, right, we set up for ourselves, and how those systems work, because I can see, I see that it's going to be very, very relevant in Nigeria in the coming years, right? There's a whole ecosystem of accountants, tax experts, investment advisors, all sorts of, that have organized themselves specifically for the immigrant community to financial people about how to get all these things done. And I think it's something that's going to be relevant in Nigeria. So I think you and I'll shot you a DM, you and I can have that conversation some other time.
Okay, fantastic. I see it. I'll come back to you, maybe give a call, and we'll see how we can apply. I mean, the whole, but it's like, if you notice how the questions are going, it's more of a cultural shock in terms of Nigerians have not paid taxes. If you don't work for the organized private sector or the government, you really haven't paid taxes. Like you pay VAT, you pay those other bills, but to pay income tax has been a big issue in Nigeria, and that's going to be the first hurdle. People are going to say, what is this? Why am I paying tax that I got? And that shock is going to be there for the first year, irrespective of whatever we do. And we're trying to explain to people that, listen, this is more of a behavioral change. How you spend money, how you receive money, you've got to adjust it. The same way in America. You go to America, they don't collect cash from you and all that. It's because of taxes, right? They are also trying to avoid taxes. They go into, how can we defer taxes? You see them buying farmland. Bill Gates is the largest farm owner in America. He's not a farmer, but he's buying farmland for a reason. So we've got to change behavior, and the tax law allows you to do good things. It allows you to open a savings account. It allows you to invest money in life insurance. It allows you to buy a home. It gives you relief if you don't have a home. These are all what the government is trying to push you to do, and they are very good. But they are using taxes to make you to do that. So, fantastic. Let's talk after this. Not a problem whatsoever. We have about an hour to go, guys. Ola, you've got the floor. Ola Malik 18. How you doing, Ola? Yeah.
I'm good, yeah, good. Good evening, everyone. A question, I've got one question which is like two in one. As a follow-on to what you said earlier to the speaker before this one was about opening a company, and if the earnings that comes into your company is less than 50 million a year.
Not earnings, turnover. The turnover.
Sorry, you don't get paid. You don't pay tax. But where I have problem is when it's time to now withdraw money from that account. Will you be taxed?
No. Your bank account is just your bank account. Doesn't mean your bank account is not your income account, right? So your company can have a turnover. The company can have turnover of maybe 49 million, right? So that company will not pay company income tax. But what about you as an individual? Let's assume, for instance, you are earning a salary from your own company. That becomes your own income, which would then be, should we say, adjudicated to pay taxes.
Yeah, but sorry to cut you, Kanu. You know, this company, we have a business account, right? And the business account comes with a card, an ATM card. If money goes in that is less than 50 million, and I use my ATM card, or I make transfer from online to transfer money from that account, maybe 20 or 25, 30 million. I just transfer it to do something else. Will I be taxed for that or something?
Well, the law says turnover above 50 million. So the question is that transfer turnover? Well, that's the question. And that's what the tax is going to look at. You can't be making transfers of 30 million a month and then say,
in a year.
I hear you. I'm just quoting back to you exactly words they use, because this is where we're going to have the gray areas. The turnover of the company is what they use, not P&L, not net tax. It's a turnover.
Let me make it specific, Carl. This money is going to be rental income.
You've already said income. You said income.
Yeah, it's going to be rental from properties.
So you earn income of 30 million. You're going to pay tax on that. It's simple. You've already said income. So you no longer turnover.
If I set up a company, and my rental is going into this company, right? And it's less than 50 million, right? Am I still going to pay tax on that? Definitely no.
For the individual or for the company, sir?
For the company.
The act says turnover of 50. I'm just telling you what the act said.
Yeah.
So I'm not. Don't have to clarify. They will clarify later on what turnover means. But they've said that if turnover of 50 million, there's 50 and 100 million, but let's stick to 50. Turnover of 50 million, you don't pay company income tax. That's what they've said. So if that income coming into the company is income, clearly it's going to be taxed. What you should focus on is going to be your taxable income, which means what are the deductibles the company can apply to reduce the taxable income. Because you have expenses. You bought diesel, right, for those companies. You paid insurance. You have a security man. You have salary guys that are your asset workers. All the deductibles are going to go to back up that income. If it's used to create the income for a real estate company. And that's what is a net that's going to be taxed. So you got the 30 million. What expenses created at 30 million? You back it out, then you pay taxes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, sir. Omo Ologo. Omo.
Yes, I'm here with you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Everybody. I salute you now. Thank you so much. Now, I wanted to also just add to your conversation here. The idea behind when you are doing crypto or any other business, what the government is saying is, if you have your company registered, you pay corporate income tax like CIT. However, if you don't register the business, it will be seen as income to you, and you pay tax on it. That will be PIT. That's number one. Number two, the addition I came up with. I think right now the government is even offering people to come and register their company for free. So can you confirm that one? Yes, confirm that. So they are giving you the opportunity to just come forward, come and register for free.
Abigail, are you hearing?
So you don't have any excuse not to come forward now. So thank you so much.
That's good. I'm going to look for that. If you can share that link with me, I'll also share it out. If you can share that free registration, because it's the behavioral change. If you've been doing 1 billion naira business with your personal name, you've got to change that in 2026. That's what we're saying. You've got to change that out in 2026. Separate your personal income from your business income. Do not commingle. Capture all expenses, record them, and claim them. That's the whole idea. The tax rates are secondary. You've got to try now to have a behavioral change and keep paperwork, because that's what you're going to use. Vinny, Venny, Vinny Young. How you doing, Vinny? One more thanks for that information. Vinny, you've got the floor. Vinny's not ready.
I believe maybe I'm trying to post it on your Jumbotron or something.
You can do that. Also share with me on DM or just on my link. I'll also share out, so that way people get that information. Yeah. Vinny,
National Representation Agency just posted it 2 days ago.
I'll look it up. Yeah. All right. Vinny's not ready. Let's go. Obidi _ okay. Obidi, how you doing? Obidi, guys are not ready.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I don't know if you can hear me. Thank you.
I can. Yes, I can.
Right. So, thank you very much, Carlo. Everything you said so far, regarding this tax, it's really good. I'm just wondering how the Nigerian government really wants to handle this, because, we don't have a very good database where, like in the US, where your social security number ties you up to everywhere in your workplace, in whether you're renting or you're buying a house, your bank account, so you're tied up all around. So any transaction or anything you do, if you use your credit card or use except you're using cash, but even if you're using cash, the person you're using cash with to be wary as well. In Nigeria, we really don't have a very good database that ties people up, whether you own a small business, whether you're renting, in your workplace, your bank account, in a way that, they can harness people's information, and for good purpose, though.
They are building that. That's what they are doing now. They are building that because essentially there's a provision in the Tax Act that says that if you buy an asset, maybe you buy a generator, so you use your generator to do business, Abi. So in normal parlance, the generator is a cost of doing business. Or like diesel. Let's say you buy diesel, use your diesel to run your generator. So in normal business cycles, you write off the business, the cost of the generator and diesel from your income, right? The taxman is saying that if that diesel or that generator has not paid import duty or VAT, you, the user, cannot write that off. So what are they doing? They are forcing every vendor now to go and register for VAT. Because what will happen is that the first time people try to do that and they get charged, they won't buy from any vendor without VAT. So they're going to start to insist, do you have VAT? Let me get your certificate. Because once they do that, what happens? All the quote-unquote unregistered people that supply you goods and services will be forced to go and do VAT. So that's what this is. They're not going to build it in one day. IRS didn't build this in one day as well. Al Capone was jailed for tax evasion. But what Al Capone did years ago, you can't do it today. So they keep on taxes. Go ahead. So they are doing it, yeah.
So well, and then the other side of it, you keep talking about behavioral change for Nigerians, which is, so I worked with two of the big fours in telecom in Nigeria before I left. And the truth is, what used to happen then, I had life insurance. When I had my first child in 2009, I bought life insurance, right, for myself and my wife. And what used to happen is, at the end of every year, I reach out to, it used to be GT Assure, to send me the summary of the payment for my life insurance. And then I'll send it to my HR and say, here is my life insurance that I paid.
Fantastic.
Which normally should have been applied, towards my tax and all of that, right? But whether that was applied or not, I can't really tell, because I never really saw that. To be honest, I never really saw much difference in terms of what I paid as tax and all of that. The other side of it is the fact that in Nigeria, what I was driving at, companies, do your tax, and then they send me tax certificates. Oh, we paid your tax for the year. That kind of thing. Unlike in the US here, where you file your tax yourself. So you and the tax advisor will sit down, and you're telling tax advisor with receipts whether what you've done, whether you have mortgage, whether you, if you're running a business, what are your deductibles, what are your expenses, you're showing that, and they're putting it down on your tax form, right? And at the end of the day, you see whether you're getting a refund or whether you're the one who's owing, and if you're owing and it's all...
Yeah, okay, I know, but what's the question? Yeah, let's get to what's the question?
No, so I'm just trying to make a comment in the fact that at the end of the day, in order to tie up all these things, right? We, back to what I said earlier, we still need to have a robust database, you understand? And then that massive education for people to understand, and then move the next step where people have to now file their tax.
Okay, let me scare you a bit. Let me scare Nigerians a bit.
Right.
In the US, there's what we call basis. You know what basis is, right? Basis. BA, basis. Mm-hmm. You know what basis is? In Nigeria, we don't have basis. But you cannot go to basis without doing what they are doing today. You can't.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, for those that don't follow, if my grandfather built a house in Lagos in 1932, and he built that house for 10,000 naira, and I sell that house today for 1 billion, what do I pay in taxes? In Nigeria, we don't have that figuration because we don't have basis. In America, they will do basis. But what they are doing today is to move it from where it was in the past. Why you didn't see your tax when you paid your life insurance to your company in the past was because you got an automatic deduction. When your Big Four paid you your paycheck, they automatically deducted 20% of that paycheck. And that was your tax credit, automatically, above the line. Right now, they removed that automatic deduction. There's no more auto deduction, which means today, what you did then is what people have to do from 2026. They've got to go to their HR and say, hey, HR, I paid rent. HR, I bought life insurance. This is my proof. Then their HR will then use that and file their taxes, if that's what they do, and claim that deduction. So we are moving to a personal filing system where Nigerians will start doing like TurboTax. And you're going to see the apps are going to come out very, very soon. So like I told Paul the space, all this app that you are saving money with, you save money with one app and all that. Demand from them that you want a tax app on that their app. If they don't give it to you, don't save money with them. Demand from them, because they're making money off you, right? And say, if I earn so amount of money, can pay my taxes and send me the tax paperwork. The National Revenue Service says that they prefer electronic filing. So what's going to happen is that anywhere in America, anywhere you put an account, crypto, bank, insurance, they send it to the IRS. So when you're filing your taxes, they send you a 1099. Use your 1099 and you file your taxes. I know what you're saying. It's going to happen in Nigeria as well. It's going to happen in Nigeria as well because that's where they are going to. So what's going to happen in Nigeria is that when you buy a house, when you buy a house, they're going to ask you for your tax ID, which is going to be that NIN. They're going there. But they can't just look up to them and say, okay, no, it's going there. And you can see the direction they're going to go to. So if you give this 5 years, it's going to be full individual filing, not employer. Full individual filing. That's where it's going to go to in 5 years, but not now. So if you're an IT guy, this is a big opportunity for you. You can be the next TurboTax guy. You can have a TurboTax that will take all these tax laws, put it into an app, make it really simple. Like last space, I gave an example. The Tax Act says if you are an individual and you earn less than 800K, you will not pay tax. Okay, how does a market woman in Mile 12 Ojota know that she earns 800,000 naira per year? How does she know? She doesn't know. Because that's now we do single entry in Nigeria, not double entry. So if you create a very simple app that's going to be on her phone, not a smartphone, her phone, every day she sells, she will say, my turnover for this day is 100 naira. She'll put 100 naira on the app. That's all she puts. Every day she will plug in her daily input every day. Once the daily input hits 800 10,000, the app will tell her, madam, you are not liable for taxes, so go and see a tax advisor. And you can then register tax advisors within areas. So if you're a banker or you are a guy or you know about these little deductions, you can register with that app. If you live in Ojota, you live in K2, you go and meet her and say, madam, you now have sold 1 million. Okay, we have to reduce your taxable income. Madam, go and buy RSA. Madam, go and buy life insurance. Kill life insurance. You explain to her. They pay you a small fee. That's how we need to create apps. Not the complicated ones that are going to be created by the big ones that we're going to use, but the simple ones that woman selling tomato in mile 12 can use. Very simple to track her turnover, that once it hits 800K, it converts her from a tax exempt to a tax liable person, and then she starts to then reduce those taxes. If it goes above that, she then goes and meets a proper accountant and will then say, okay, madam, you are going to pay tax, but this is how we're going to do it for you to pay. That's what Nigeria needs. So they've teed it up for you. If you're an IT person, it's teed up for you. Run with this. Get a banker, get someone, sit down in a room, map this out, create your app, and this is how fintech started. All this Flutter, this is how they started. They sat down, they saw the laws were changing, and then they created an app to capture the new demand. It's going to be a demand from 2026 for tax advisory, tax planning, and all that. You want to capture it. Guys, we're running very, very quick, but we're going to be out in like an hour. Yeah, we're very welcome. I appreciate you. Yeah. Ever Genius. OBDB, thanks so much. That was good. Great question. Ever Genius, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Kalu. It's a wonderful space. I always enjoy.
Thank you, sir.
Olumide, I follow you a lot, and I do learn a lot from your daily output as well. But I have a simple question, and quite somehow it may still be complex, and I'll be speaking for people that are not here. I heard about the crypto people. I'm also one of them. I am actually an OTC and P2P trader. And if you know about this, it's more like the exchanger for crypto to fiat. So in this case, we trade crypto for people to convert to their fiat. Fiat is the local currency, Naira. Now, in the case of someone like me, I'm not in the country. I work outside the country and I make money outside the country. That's one. I am salary. That's one. Then I do P2P as a side also. But in this case, I do a lot of transactions to Nigeria traders. Like in more than 100 million, even on daily basis. Let me put it that way for a start. How do I have an organization, a registered organization. How do I get taxed? It's a bit complex. I was trying to understand what you've been saying, but I still do not connect. If my monthly turnover or yearly turnover, I will do that in, let me say, 1 week.
So you're going to pay tax?
50 million.
But you're going to,
50 million.
Are you making the income in Nigeria or Canada? Where's the income being made?
Okay, currently I am in Ghana. And for my income, my personal income is not even up to, I'll just say like $1,000 for the salary. But on my side also, I can do a turnover of more than what I'm hearing. So now you
I hear you. So I'm asking, where is that turnover being made? Is it being made in Ghana or Nigeria? Where is the turnover being made?
Okay, I trade in Ghana, but I make payment to Nigerian account. So I have my Nigerian account.
So,
is the one.
No, I know. So if you make payments in Ghana, then that's a Ghanaian income, right? What's the problem? We don't have any business with that income, right? Why is it Nigerian income? Yeah, if I live in Malaysia and I turn over 1 billion in Malaysia, how is the Nigerian government's business?
You don't get. I am making payment from Nigerian account to another Nigerian account.
No, but where's the turnover? Where's the turnover being made, in Nigeria or Ghana?
That will be in Ghana.
So then what's the problem? There's no.
Okay, I think that answers my question now.
If you have income, there's not. The law said taxation of turnover just to exempt you, but the income is taxable. The 50 million just means when they will start to tax you. They don't tax turnover; they tax income. The 50 million is just when they will start to tax the income. So let's say you make income of turnover of 50 million, but income of 10,000, then they will tax 10,000. You hear what they're saying? Sorry, in turnover of 501 million, then income of 10, then they'll tax the 10. The 50 million is where the threshold is to begin to tax you. So if you say you make income above 50 million, that means you've crossed the threshold to be taxed. So the taxman is going to ask himself, where is the tax base? Where are you generating that 50 million? Is it in, so that 10,000, is it in Ghana or Nigeria? If you have money in Nigeria that is in an interest-bearing account, of course you're going to pay tax on that. They will take withholding tax. If you do transactions in Nigeria, you might pay VAT. But whatever personal income tax, right? The law has a number for residency. You have to stay in Nigeria for a certain amount of days to be a resident of Nigeria. So if you stay below that number of days, you're not a resident. Hence, you will not be taxed, right? So you have to focus on where is the turnover being made. Where is that? That's really the question you have to answer. Once you answer that question, then are you making 50 million? Yes. Then okay, then you pay or you don't pay. Yep. What?
Okay, thank you. So, quick one. Just for the people that are not here, most of the P2P traders are not actively on X. So I just want to ask this one. For someone who is doing the same thing in Nigeria, having a huge turnover, but cannot even calculate his income as we speak. I know people that do billions.
He's going to pay a whole lot of tax on what we call best of judgment. So those people are the people that are going to get the shock in January. Because that's why I keep on saying behavioral change. If you have a lot of turnover, you just spend, you dip your hand into your turnover, you spend, you do business, you are going to be hit with a huge amount of taxes. You've got to go from now to 2026, go and hire an accountant to look at what you're doing and advise you how you can change your spending income behavior for 2026. Those people are the ones that I'm afraid for, because they will say, oh, turnover is below 50 million, I'm not going to pay tax. No. You're going to pay tax because you are not running your business in a tax efficient manner. So tell your friends that are doing anyone at 50 million, go and hire an accountant. If you go to OND University, they will advise you. It's not a big transaction. They're going to tell you what you need to do, the books of account you need to keep. That's what you need to do going forward. Don't go into 2026 with the same mentality of, I can dodge. No. If you do that, they're going to get hit very, very hard. Yeah? Olumide has already told you guys. Yeah. You're very welcome. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine, Gerald. Hey, what's up, man?
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. This has been very, very insightful. I've learned so much. But I have a question, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, my question is, if somebody sends money to your account, somebody sends money to your personal account, and the person tags it as gift, I want to know if that person is going to be taxed.
The receiver or the sender?
I received the money. I want to know if both of us or who will be taxed. If it's tagged as gift, like in the narration.
Yeah. So look at it this way. Let me just. Yeah, I know what you're going to. So look at it this way, right? The taxman is taxing income, not gifts. But if the taxman sees every month 1 million gift, 1 million gift, 1 million gift, what do you think the taxman will say?
Okay.
He will say it's not gift.
You think it's a fraud?
No, he will think that you are paying yourself salary, and you are trying to avoid paying tax by tagging it as gift. So the answer really is that when you are doing all this, keep in mind that what you are trying to do is if you get a gift every month, it's no longer a gift now, it's now income. You see what I'm saying? You have the taxman is going to look at it and say a reasonable person would assume that if I got a gift every month, same amount, it's no longer a gift, it's an income, it's an annuity or whatever, and they're going to tax you on that. So you can't really hide from that. If you go during Christmas, someone gives you a gift of 12 million, that's a gift.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's the point I'm making.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I also wanted to ask, we're talking about deductions, like if you have a company account. If you have a company account, what are the various deductions that you talk about life insurance? I didn't get the other one.
So remember that. I'll say it again, right? If you have an individual person take deductions, I'm going to list the 5 for you. For the individual, I'll do company. For the individual, number 1, retirement savings account. Both the statutory and additional voluntary contribution are tax exempt from your income. That's number 1. Number 2 is going to be your life insurance premium that you pay for yourself and for your spouse. life insurance for yourself and for your spouse. Number 3, National Housing Fund, mandatory contribution. Number 4, National Health Insurance Scheme, mandatory contribution. Number 5, the mortgage. If you are paying for a mortgage, the interest you pay on the mortgage you can also back out from your total income. There's a 6th one, which is your rent. If you are paying rent, 20% of the rent number capped at 500,000. That's for personal. For a company, it's any expense that you can show was used towards the generation of the income being taxed. So any expense. I give you a good example. If Davido is filing his taxes, Davido would list that Ferrari he bought for 2.3 million as an expense. A Ferrari, he bought a Ferrari car, he's buying gold chains, he's eating flying private jets. Davido would list those things, Ferrari, gold chains, as an expense because Davido is in the business of showbiz. So those things are what he's using for showbiz. If you list them, the taxman will say no. You don't need a Ferrari to do your business. So why are you putting a Ferrari why are you putting gold chain? That's your personal asset. So you pay tax on that. So it is any expense used wholly, reasonably towards the creation of that income. You can back it out under a business. So does that explain it for you clearly?
Yes, it does.
Perfect.
It does.
All right, thank you.
Then please, the last question. Now, I'm a medical doctor, and I'm currently doing my house job. Now, when I started my house job,
If I can't hear you. Your audio is really bad. Send me a DM. Let's get Ernest Okechukwu. Ernest, how you doing?
Very fine, Mr. Kanu, and Olumide, and the rest of the experts on this space. My name is Ernest. Thank you so much for the space, Mr. Kanu, and thanks for all you do. My question is about the impact, the negative impacts retail investors in the stock market will experience. What will be the impact, and what can we do? You heard about 150 million and all of that recently when I look at Nairametrics, but I wanted deeper insights into this tax issue and on all that. So please, I don't know if there's a need for us to start reducing our holding in some of the stocks we have.
I don't think so. Only me could think that.
First of all, I think for retail investors, I think there's nothing to worry about. I mentioned earlier that the previous was 100, now the upgrade to 150 million. Now, if you look at CSCS data, more than 95% of Nigerians don't even trade up of that amount of money. So I think people that should be pretty much worried that today the modules are the bank CEOs or those that do insiders buying most of the time, because you see sometimes most of them put the peg at below 100. So definitely, I think it has little implication for retail investors, like you mentioned, because for you to be captured first, you must meet two requirements. You must trade at least 150 million naira a year, 150 million naira a year, and income of more than 10 million. So when you look at that, it pretty much tells you that retail investors should not worry. However, I think for the market generally, I listen to different experts because I'm not really a tax. Tax is not really my fault, but I'm looking from the point of the fact that since that it's been scaled, the likes of Dangote are pretty much like Dangote. Even he had to acknowledge that what concerns him now is withholding tax. But you see that when you compare it still with other markets, it's still competitive, For example, the taxes I pay in France and the UK, it's much more, what I'm getting in Nigeria is much more better. So even when I compare the adjustments, but just like Carlos said now, so pretty much now, when I was putting some of these assets in personal, now I'm considering putting them in a business just for me to reduce my tax liabilities. So yeah, for retail investors, the average Nigerian, you have little to worry about. Particularly, honestly, you have little to worry about, except you are really not. The same thing with the crypto space. The problem with the crypto space is that a lot of people hide themselves what they really are not. Because when you look at data also, many retail traders in Nigeria are the minute. It's the Americans that really control. Look at what happened to Bitcoin today. It got to 125,000, and it's just because of the US shutdown. If you look at the impact of America on markets, it's huge. So it's the Americans that should really worry about the quantity and quantity. For Nigeria, yeah, we can say we have quantity in terms of number of people interested, but the quality is not really there. How many Nigerians really have $1,000 in their balance wallet? So, those that are really high net worth will get exposed, no doubt. And those that think that they can hide, well, I think that according to Israel information, they're planning to use intelligence, human intelligence, and also mandate these exchanges to expose their high net. In Nigeria, they suspect that is an high net worth individual.
Yeah, definitely. So you can't handle that crypto. They're going to get you guys. I mean, there was a crypto guy that was on the space 2 weeks ago, and he said the government had a meeting with them, and they're going to basically, just like in America, if you open any crypto account in America, they send your name to the IRS. It's going to be the same thing in Nigeria. It's nothing new. So I would say try to look for legal ways to avoid taxes. Tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is illegal. I just shared on my page now your individual deductions, what you can do to reduce your individual tax liability. Just share it now. So that's going to be later space on my TL. So you can look at it, you can share. These are what the company has said, the government has said you can do to reduce your taxable income. Mr. Osifo J. Osifo, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Khalid. Thank you.
What's up, man?
Yeah, very well. I think I just have a few questions. I live here in the UK, and I do send money to my family sometimes, especially my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried that if she receives a monthly present in her account, is she going to be taxed? And not just that, how long do they have to keep those information for?
The data side of it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They have to come and access the data. Here we keep data for a certain period, maybe 4 years, and you throw the information away.
Yeah.
How long?
I don't know that answer. I think there's an answer there. I don't know the exact number of years. I get your question, but I know the exact number of years where you have to data retention. There's a policy on that. I don't know the exact answer. Yeah, I mean, something that Grok can get for us, but I don't really know the answer. As to your mom, is she how old is your mom? Is she getting the money from you as upkeep, remittance? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just the upkeep, yeah.
So I would just advise you, when you're sending money to her, narrate it properly, remittance to mom or upkeep for mom, so that the taxman sees it. When they want to look at your mom's account, they see her age, it's coming from her son in London, it says here narrative and upkeep. That's all they need to see, because your mom is not earning more than 800. Let's assume she's even earning more than 800. The tax bands are very, very wide. They've increased the tax bands. I think the first tax band is almost 2.2 million after 800, if I'm correct. So it's very, very wide tax bands. Like I said, if she doesn't earn 1.45 million a month, her taxes are going to go down. If she doesn't earn up to 1.45, that's 17 million a year. Her taxes without deductions. If you just give her the money, she does not do any deduction, her taxes are going to go down. She will pay zero for 800,000. The other one, she will pay a tax, but it's lower than what she paid under the old scheme, if that makes any sense, sir.
All right, thank you, Carl.
So you can sort of manage it a bit and say, okay, even if she does get taxed, she's paying a lower tax today than what you would have paid under the old scheme. Yep. All right, perfect. All right, yeah, getting the messages. Let me say it again, right? This is why I'm getting most messages on. If you earn less than 800,000 naira, you will not pay any tax whatsoever. Personal income tax, you will pay VAT. You will not pay any personal income tax if you earn less than 800,000 naira a year. A year. If you earn 1.45 million naira a month, whatever your taxes were in the old scheme, they will go lower in the new scheme. This is even if you don't do any deductions. You don't do pension, you don't do NHS. Just say, I'm going to take my whole money and go home. The tax you will pay at 1.45 million a month will be less than the taxes you would pay under the old scheme. Once you earn above 1.45, your taxes are going to go up. That's a month, 1.45 a month. But I'm getting this figures from, if you go to the fiscal committee, they have a tax table there. Plug the numbers in there without deductions. You see it's the same amount. I think I even shared it on Twitter, on Twitter a while back. I did a table on Excel where I showed the amount that you would make, and at 1.45 it equalizes. The old scheme and new scheme would equalize. So that's your magic number, 1.45 million a month. Whatever you do is going to go up at that number.
I don't know people in that. That's another question. Every full year, 1.5
a month. People in it, so that's a month. 1.45 a month.
I know. I mean the population of Nigerians. Yeah.
Very small.
I feel that.
Very small. But that's who they're going after. That's who they're going after. They're not worried after the Maputs. They're not worried after Maputs. Yeah. Even these crypto boys that are talking, they're not worried after them. They're not worried for them. They are going after the big boys. It's a very, very progressive tax system. Very progressive.
That is why, honestly, when I looked at the law, basically I was like, this is good for the middle class and lower class. But the problem with the Nigerian government is that, they have bad market, bad PR. So people, anything that comes from government, particularly the fact that people don't trust the government use of funds, is bad sale. So I think the government, particularly the president, I'm expecting people to, because I don't know if it makes sense. Like, for example, the president should declare his tax. Donald Trump had that issue because the average European politician must show tax credibility. If Nigerians understand that, see, for you to get a contract, you must pay taxes. And that's what I've been fighting for the Nigerian stock market. That companies that are listed on the stock market should be given priority when they are lobbying for contract, because they pay basically most of these things. NGX dues, they open their books, they have to use a credible accounting firm, probably the Big Four. They have to, and they are exposed to different penalties. But when you see just because somebody has a connection with a minister, you just open a CC account within 6 months and I'll be, this thing haunts me. So I particularly feel that for this tax thing to really work, we need to see from their level a form of credibility where people will really openly show that there is nothing to hide. Because all the things you said, honestly, it aligns with my thinking that if you look at this thing, it's really going to make things much more efficient, empower people, create more opportunities. But the use of the funds is another question. That's another thing again with this tax revenue, because the government is going to make a lot of money from this. But the question is that, is it going to be put into good use?
Yeah, well said. I mean, I wish the presidents and the ministers will come in January and release their tax, not asset, their tax filings, the same way the Americans do, because they say we are copying America, right? Release their own tax filings. That will give a big boost to self-assessment. The ministers, the president, and when the president does it, all the governors do it, all the local government chairmen do it. Then let's see who will not file taxes. But if you just keep on saying pay, and the president does not release his own tax filing, that's a bit funny. Issa Hashim. How you doing, sir? Issa? Is Issa there? Hey, how you doing? Real quick, Issa, we're talking wealth, enterprise, assets, liabilities, tax, and horizon. That's our wealth session where we do personal finance. What's your question, sir?
My question is about the tax. Like, I usually I'm a big guy. Like, I usually publish books on and get pitch monthly, which in a month I might make. I make up to $1,000 to 1,500. So my question is that will I be also taxed, though the amount is not coming directly to my Nigerian bank account, but like an intermediary bank account, like all those Clever, GP, and then Gray.
Yeah.
So I don't know if.
Yeah, Issa, you get taxed too. That's income. So you said you make about $1,000, right? So that's even if you use 1,500, that's how much? How much is that? Is that 1.5 million? How much is that?
Yeah, that's 1.5.
So you've already crossed the threshold, though. So you're going to pay income tax on that amount of money. So the question you want to ask yourself is, how can you reduce it, right? Is it for a company? Maybe you should go and register a company so you can have a higher threshold of turnover. Or what are your expenses you can also plow back to claim back or claw back on those taxes you're going to pay. Those are things you have to do and talk to your tax advisor. But yes, you will pay tax. Doesn't matter whether they're going to Cleverly or to another app. It's coming to you. You are the beneficial owner of that transaction. So yes, you will pay tax in Nigeria.
So my second question is like after I have a company account. Does that mean like in a year, if the amount for that company doesn't reach the amount to be taxed, does that mean I'm like tax free?
If the turnover is not up to 50 million, then you will not pay company income tax. That is what the law says, correct?
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Look at the Optimist. Guys, we're about 15 minutes to go. Optimist, what's your mind? Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Yeah. Hi.
One of the speakers have made emphasis based on what I wanted to say regarding the crypto, regarding the crypto transactions. Like now, I'm a Nigerian. I reside in Nigeria, and I have a lot of friends as well who are into crypto, into P2P transactions, which means even in a week, some of us may have a transaction worth of like 500 million.
Ha!
Even in a week, just like 500 million.
Doing what now?
P2P transaction, which means we are buying and we are selling.
500 million.
Even in a week.
When I go pay tax, so.
And another thing is, there are some of us that we have crypto holdings, like in some exchanges. Like some would crypto like worth of maybe like $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, different amounts. What should be the effect of tax on those two scenarios?
So first of all, you pay tax on income, not assets. So if you hold $1 billion Bitcoin assets, you will not pay tax on that 1 billion. But if you sell $1,000 of that 1 billion, you pay tax on that $1,000. That's the number one thing. You don't pay tax on assets, you pay tax on income. Those transfers you are making back and forth, they are not taxable transactions per se, but the taxman will ask himself, if you, Optimist, can do transfer of 500 million a week, you should not be paying tax of 10,000 naira now. That's what they're going to say. They will now come and look at you critically, because if you are doing 500 million, I know it does not correspond automatically. It doesn't mean you should pay that. But man, 500 million is a lot of money to do and not pay tax, you see? See what I'm saying? All right. So, I mean, it's not automatic. They won't say because you do 500, you should pay tax. But you have to show, you have to keep records. So, for people like you, we're going to have a crypto space. I think it's a space I'm going to be speaking on Thursday, this Thursday. If you guys can join, try and join and listen here.
And another thing is, while trading, we are buying and we are selling. Well, that is two scenarios. We're making transfer, that is revenue.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Then we're buying and selling, because we're going to get naira. We have to sell.
Yes.
We sell, we buy. You understand?
Yes.
So why selling? There are certain something that will be implemented on that one as because we are selling.
Yes.
That's like withholding tax.
Yes. So that one, when you are buying and selling, you are generating capital gains. If you make a profit, you automatically generate capital gains. That's why you are paying withholding tax. Withholding tax is that's capital gains which you're generating. So the law is saying if you do more than say 150 million or even 150 million, then you pay the tax on that. So if you do less than that, you don't pay the capital gains tax. You've got to do above a certain threshold to trigger capital gains tax. So there's the income tax per se on the income you are making from your transactions. But the actual trading itself, when you do that trade today, trade tomorrow by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, those trades all have a capital gains element to them. Those individual trades. In America, they track them. I'm not sure how Nigerians will track it. But in America, the exchange will track it and send to the IRS. When you sell below 1 year, you pay a higher tax than when you sell after 1 year. You know that now. So I don't know how Nigerians will do it, but yeah, they do track it. Optimus, makes sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
What I'll tell you, keep records. Incorporate your enterprise. Keep records. What behavior will change? You now know that if you sell, you generate income, capital gains tax. So do you sell as often?
Normally, I have to register the limited liability company.
Okay.
Because I used to be transfer.
So we're looking at 50 million.
But I registered on the exchanges with my personal name.
It can't work like that now. It has to all match now. You can't have limited liability company, then go with your personal name. You are not the same people.
Most of the exchanges doesn't give room for internal registration. Most, not all, for most.
Then go to the one that does. That's why we say behavioral change. Go to the one that does. That's the change you are changing. I hear you. Often, all I can just say what I know, right? I'm not telling you that's the behavioral change I'm talking about. So I hear what you're saying, but that's the behavioral change. So last week we got about 5 minutes to go. Obina, I think you've spoken, Obina. Obina Ugochi.
I have not spoken.
Go ahead, sir.
I have not spoken.
Obina, go ahead.
Good evening, Carlos. Good evening, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much. I've been learning from your space. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I want to ask, if someone is working in a place where the pay slip has spelled the segment of the salary, like maybe transportation, housing, and the rest of them, do you still advise that the person can file any rent payment to his HR?
Yes, that's what we're asking. That's what we're saying. That's the behavioral change we're talking about. That in the past, your HR files for you. Now you have to file. So go and ask your HR that what will happen from 2026. Do you need to file with them or do you need to do self-filing? Ask your HR. Whatever they tell you, that's what you're going to do. So if you don't pay for rent or you buy life insurance, you can give your HR. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Yeah, let's get Saint Tops. Not here. Udeze Uche. Is he available? Udeze Uche, are you available?
Hello, Mr. Kalu.
Saint Tops, how are you? Go ahead, sir.
I'm very fine. I must appreciate I've learned a lot from this space.
Thank you, sir.
But some things I need clarification on.
Real quick.
Yeah. Concerning you made mention of 800. I think that is annually or monthly?
Annually.
Would that be taxed?
Annually.
Okay. Then I heard you still mentioning about 150. That I don't get.
That's capital gain. So like if you buy and sell shares, not income tax, capital gains tax, different when you bought and when you sold. That's capital gain. That's 150, yeah.
Okay, and the filing aspect deals with the expenses one incur in all the process that will be looked over during the taxation, right?
The filing aspect is if you are a company, then you have to file a company income tax, your personal income tax, you file your expenses for the company. For the individual, it's already pre-done what you can file. You can only file those 5 items we mentioned before.
Yeah, and more importantly, you made mention of HR now, and I think some of the filing the HR though they don't put some other expenses into consideration. Were they actually listening to the employee concerning that?
That's why you have to go and ask your HR and say, HR, would you guys file for us going forward? That's what you have to find out, because if they say no, then you have to file by yourself. That's what we're saying. Right? You can't assume. You got to basically go and find out. If they say no, then yeah. All right, perfect. OAT Sheen, Cosmic Muffins.
Good evening, Mr. Carlo.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good evening, everybody. I'm fine, sir. My question here is on behalf of my grandmother.
Okay.
She owns a supermarket. She sells provisions like Golden Moon, Pepsi, you know. So and according to the tax, they are not going to tax business people with a turnover of less than 50 million, or they are going to tax people with a turnover of more than 50 million.
Yeah.
So the question is this: my grandmother does not know if she makes up to 50 million or less than 50 million. All she knows that she goes to a there, she buys like packets of biscuits, dupes, you know, and she sells. She doesn't know if she's making profit or loss. She doesn't even know. All she knows is she's buying and selling for years now. She doesn't know anything. You know?
You're right.
So the question is, how do you going to know if she makes more than 50 million or makes less, you know?
Yeah.
How are you going to know how she good?
I mean, that's a fantastic question. I think your question is what would shock many people in January 2026. This is the point I'm making over and over and over again. It's a behavioral change issue, not just a tax issue. Your grandmom, unfortunately, would have to keep proper records going forward. She's got to try to automate what she's doing, capture that turnover, if possible, separate the store account from her personal account. Trust me, bro, we all have mothers or aunties that have shops, and we know how they run the shops. When we want to go to school, they will sell Bonvita and give us money of Bonvita to go to school with. We get that. That has to change. Otherwise, she's going to pay a higher tax. The tax people will say, how are we sure you're not making 200 million? And they will tax her based on that, their judgment. So your mom has got to go to ASUT is there. Go to ASUT, call accounting students, bring them to her store, give them mineral and gala, ask them questions. They will automate that store, tell her the books of account to keep, and show her what she has to do. That's what is to happen. You see, I've talked about an app. The person that's going to bank in Nigeria is going to be the person that's going to create an app for SMEs like your grandmother. The grandmother can go into that app, put in her turnover day by day, and to do her taxes for her. That company that's set up in Nigeria will become a unicorn, because there are so many SMEs all across Nigeria that will not know how to file taxes. And what they want is something very, very simple. And what's the simplest thing you can track? Turnover. You can even come and add purchases and sales later, but just capturing turnover, just so that she is alerted that, listen, madam, you have crossed 800,000 or you have crossed 50 million. Hence, you have to go and hire it. That alone, that flagging is going to save millions for people. So that's what I would advise you, my brother. Guys, we gotta go. It's been fantastic. We've got Olumide here. This week we're talking, we're having our wealth space, which is our wealth building, enterprise, assets, liabilities, tax, and horizon. We're gonna do more of this because this is just personal finance. We will take questions, you guys ask us, we try to answer, and we just learn from together. So we're gonna do more of this just so we can get financial literacy across the board. Thank you, Omar, for sharing that on the Jumbotron. He says CAC Smedham launch free registration drive. So again, if you are not registered, Smedham and this guy CAC have tagged into this tax ID. They are saying go and register your business. If you are doing individual crypto, go and register your business. Let me tell you, whether you are doing a business or not, go and register your business. Call it whatever, but be ready. Don't wait till you retire to have your own personal business. I don't care. I will tell you, oh, you can't work for people. Go and register your business. Have it ready so you can do many things, especially getting deductions from this tax policy. That's what I'll say, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to have a space on Thursday with some guys on the crypto side. Try to follow on Twitter, try to share it out. And if possible, we'll have another wealth space again on Thursday where we just talk around the same questions. So that note, guys, really, thank you so much again for being here. I really do appreciate you. That note, guys, I will see you guys on Thursday and then again on Sunday. We're going to bring in on Sunday an economist to talk about Nigerian GDP, this journey so far, and where we are. Special thanks to our sponsor of this space. This is Val Kenya. Val Kenya is offering luxury flats to Nigerians to invest in Kenya, so you get passive real estate income in dollars. You're going to get dollars income if you invest in Val Kenya. And remember, Nigeria and Kenya are working on a double tax agreement, which means if you buy property in Kenya and you earn income in Kenya, you can write that off because of double taxation that we're going to sign with them. All right, guys, thank you so much for being there. Sorry about the breach that we had when we started, but it's all good. I'll see you guys next week. My name remains Kalu Aja. Thank you so much, and bye.